Hello my loves, I'm Ellie Frost. Thank you so much for being on my channel where we are talking about the multi-dimensional approach to rapidly and radically healing and transforming during and after narcissistic abuse. And I just want to explain a multi-dimensional approach. My approach is integrated. I have years and years of mastering healing modalities, personal development, quantum physics, as well as like studying and being an undergrad in psychology. So I integrate those with energetic, like energy healing and spiritual modalities, awareness and wisdom. So I'm a channel as well, which means I have psychic abilities and I download information. I get given information from the divine. But what's not working so well in the mainstream is that when you deal with narcissistic abuse from a purely psychological level, you're missing really the point, right? It's a spiritual and psychic attack first, and that gives the cognitive, like the mental issues around our subconscious beliefs, being stuck in the cycle. It's literally a spell the narcissist puts on you and anyone that is a flying monkey or an enabler, right? They will not see the truth of the narcissist. It's an illusion, but they're working in consciousness. When you understand that and know how to heal it in an integrated way, and my work covers it all at once. It's extremely fast in the results I get with people, not only in healing from the trauma, but also radically transforming your life, right? You've got to understand that the narcissistic abuse cycle impacts your consciousness in such a big way. What was so interesting and honestly like distressing to me was, yes, I did grow up in a narcissistically abusive household. I'd had no idea what that was. But then I went on and built a beautiful life, an abundant life. I did a lot of work on myself, qualified in many things, including like ran a successful business, and I had, a high conscious awareness. After I got targeted and attacked, I would call it attacked, by narcissists. They were coming at me from everywhere. I had no idea why, because I didn't understand, I guess, my role on the planet, like what I stand for. It's not exactly personal, it's what people like me stand for, which is an awakening on the planet on a bigger level, right? And bringing the truth to what it is. So, which stops the cycle, because once you see it and we stop fueling it, it cannot exist. You have to understand that we've got distorted, especially in the Western world where we're so disconnected spiritually. What that means is we're not even conscious that this is a spiritual attack. We're dealing with it intellectually, and you can't heal it intellectually, and also you can't understand it just intellectually. That's why those therapies are not working. And not working fast, and certainly not working into a greater abundance. People are taught to manage symptoms, or that this means like that they're so damaged. Honestly, it doesn't. What the narcissistic abuse cycle does is radically lower your vibration and consciousness. So you go into fear consciousness, you go into lack consciousness. Everything they're teaching you under the psychic attack, your self-worth is dramatically eroded, right? As is your awareness of really like true life, like the abundance of life. So we no longer dream in the same way. We're just trying to survive each day. This is what trauma does. It freezes your evolution, right? But the narcissist needs your energy to exist. So when we withdraw supply and actually have an awakening on the planet and see it for what it is, right? This is great for you and the narcissist, because the narcissist is forced into an awakening when they can't siphon and pillage off other people anymore, right? So it's good for you, it's good for them, and it's good for us as a whole. But we've got to, as a collective, wake up and stop fueling the dark, right? This has got distorted and out balanced because we don't see the truth of what it is. And I talk all the time about this is not new age. I'm not new age. This is ancient wisdom. It's written in every scripture. It's been written about for centuries, right? So the narcissist radically changes your consciousness, your awareness, yeah? And part of that is by putting you under the illusion and the spell, which is part of it. That then starts, and they start also like reprogramming your subconscious mind, because everything that happens in this cycle changes your beliefs about who you are, what you get to do, be, and have. So you lose your identity, right? And your connection to self, and often your spiritual connection, which is what it's designed to do. It's everything that's been written about in the scriptures. So to break the spell, the solution to that is sovereignty, which is what my program is called. Get in for July 17th if you can, because I'm opening it again then. And that is a journey that is everything you need to radically shift this in terms of the energetics, the conscious and subconscious reprogramming, not just to heal, that is a big part of it, but also to start manifesting in alignment with yourself and soul. So when they are damaging your consciousness, lowering your vibration, right? This impacts every area of your life. You might not think it at once because it depends on how heavy the attack has been. But there's not, after a while in these environments, your wealth consciousness, your health consciousness, in fact, what you expect from life. So again, remember your consciousness, your awareness is going to really dictate what you receive in your life, because it's about what you think who you are, what you get to do, be and have. If you're constantly being invalidated, devalued, which is the biggest part of the narcissistic cycle, and then discarded or feared into being just abandoned and discarded, right? If you don't comply, i.e. be what they need you to be and not be true to yourself, yeah, then your expectation for life gets very low. So, for example, part of raising our consciousness, our wealth, for example, vibration, our prosperity in life, is to have higher standards and better expectations, right, of what we get to receive, is to break out of what's called scarcity and lack mindset. It's not even a mindset, it's a consciousness, right? Narcissism is a consciousness, and so is scarcity and lack. But when you're constantly not given enough, breadcrumbed, right, relating to life in a very unloved, unsupported way, this consciousness impacts everything. It impacts your money, it impacts your health, it impacts the quality of your life in every way. It completely disarms you, right? It can take you out of a higher vibration if you've done a lot of work on yourself and put you into extreme lack consciousness. And at that point, you're pretty disarmed, because you need to raise your consciousness in order to receive more from life, to rebuild life that is actually meant for you. This is what the narcissist is constantly doing, putting you under psychic attack, this spell, which over time starts reprogramming your mind, attacking your energy field, traumatizing you, keeping you stuck in trauma that you haven't yet processed, and lowering your vibration and consciousness on the planet. Yeah, it's complete spiritual attack. It is dark against light, which you can completely break out of. But don't kid yourself, right? It does affect every area of your life over time, because in order to raise your vibration, you've got to be connected to self, connected to source, connected to God, connected to the planet, and connected to a more abundant vibe. You've got to be in your personal power, everything the narcissist seeks to destroy. So you can't be in both vibrations. You can't be in a sovereign, I've got self-power, and in a, I get to be invalidated. If you're constantly accepting, agreeing and consenting to being invalidated, diminished, right, ignored, devalued, abandoned, discarded, treated like trash, then your overall vibration over time becomes, that's what you're an energetic match to in the universe. So the only way we can change that is to be a sovereign source for self and a different energetic match in the universe, which is one that's supported, valued, abundant, prosperous, healthy, yeah, on purpose, connected to our spirituality, connected to our faith, connected to our true abundant life, yeah. This is like such a big illusion on the planet that we have to stay with a narcissist to get our needs met. Because as you start waking up, the lie, the block is always that somehow they're providing my needs, right? And the trauma of the discard, the way that they treat us, is something that really attacks our spiritual sense of self. Because, you know, if the people that are supposed to love us, that are in roles that society says are the ones that are our caretakers and all that kind of stuff, then the soul injury, the fragmentation of our soul, we kind of get smashed apart when we're treated in a way that is like so traumatic to us. However, it doesn't take a long time to heal when you know what you're doing and you can integrate the approaches and actually just cut out the lies of what this is. It's not that hard to heal when you actually start understanding what you've been through and knowing how to move the energy, which is what I do with people, as well as start reprogramming the conscious and subconscious brain. What I teach my clients all the time is that you may have had, which I did, many traumatic experiences, but the root traumas are always the same. And sovereignty, when you come into sovereignty, then those root traumas don't coexist there. So you already heal them. In fact, reclamation of ourselves and our sovereignty is the antidote. Now, a lot of people say, well, I've been doing healing work for years. Well, then you're not healed. And I do think healing is an ongoing journey, but we're not meant to be in healing for the rest of our lives. We're meant to be in personal development, in evolution and growth, right? Which is why, again, I integrate those things. So yes, there's always going to be healing to come up along the way, but like, it's not how many hours you put in. If it's not, it doesn't take that long when you're on the right path. It took me years to put this system together. It took me years to crack the code. It took me years, and I had to go right back and open my channel and my gifts more, actually, and speak to the divine and actually be given the truth. I had to see the absolute truth of what this was on the planet so that I could wake up myself, you know, to a large extent. And some people on the planet do see through things, and I think we're being asked to see the truth more, right? Not get caught up in the mind traps, because again, some of the gaslighting is going on in the psychology field, where people are spinning people round, telling them that this is all about them and their childhood wounds, and actually it's really not. It's really not. Plenty of people have childhood wounds and are not stuck in abuse cycles. Now, childhood wounds are a good gateway entry for a narcissist. So is if you're going through a very challenged, you know, very traumatic time in your life. I know that the more narcissistic abuse cycles I got into, the more I was targeted, because I was more vulnerable then. My energy field was low, but it was my energy field that was impaired, that needed to be strengthened to actually be resilient to the narcissistic abuse. Again, what I teach you in my work and in Sovereign. So when you've got a strong energy field and you know how to be sovereign, right, and you're constantly working on your evolution and growth, then you see things for what they are, and you're not targeted in the same way. And if you do come across them, you know how to deal with them and keep in your own energy, right? But before that time, especially like if you've got something they want, right, they'll target you for a number of things, especially if you're a strong light worker, if you're going through a vulnerable time. If you're an easy target, they're predators. You know, you've got childhood wounds. You could be manipulated through your empathy. There's something you want that they present that they've got, but ultimately they're the ultimate predators. It's got very little overall to do with you, yeah, because you get to live a peaceful life, and we're not supposed to be perfect. You get to be healing in a gentle, beautiful way on this planet, and you know, it doesn't have to be this harsh reality that anything that's unhealed and still painful in us, that we don't get to actually grow and heal that. Instead, we get targeted and traumatized more, which keeps us down. This has to be rebalanced on the planet spiritually by more of us waking up, more of us doing this work. Please come into Sovereign if you can. It's $555. It's absolutely nothing compared to what other people charge for this work and how long people spend in therapy and string this out. I also have private coaching on one-on-one where people radically transform their lives massively. Like, they heal, but things start moving in their life in a whole new way. So contact me about those things. Lots of love, guys. I'll speak to you soon.